What's up, guys? You are just in time for this week's video. Week 6, waiver wire. Spend all your fab if you have any left. Let's go. Let's jump right into it. A couple of streaming candidates that I want to talk about for week 6. A couple of streaming candidates I want to talk about in week 6. Let's talk about Caleb Williams. He had a good week last week, which was pretty much his first good week of the season. And what do you know? He played a trash defense. He looked amazing. He plays a good defense. He looks like prime Daniel Jones. Obviously, wait for a good defensive matchup, and then he's streamable. What do you have this week? A good defensive matchup. He's playing against the Jags, so at this point, I'm just giving away fantasy points. He's actually getting better with every single game. If you look at the stats, every single game, he's getting a little bit better and better and better. He's starting to hit his strides. His team's getting healthy. Keenan Allen coming back. He's been a shell of himself, but at least he's reliable underneath. DJ Moore, he's starting to get that connection with Caleb Williams. DeAndre Swift heard he was going to get benched, and all of a sudden, he's playing like a prime LaDainian Tomlinson. It's crazy. My second option, hear me out. Bo Nix. He's playing against this Chargers defense. Likes to give a lot of fantasy points to the quarterback position. And Bo Nix, you can say what you want about Bo Nix, but at the very least, he's on pace to score 10 rushing touchdowns this year. So he has a little bit of a floor. He's starting to get a connection with his wide receivers. He's starting to get a little more traction in the offense. He's starting to get a little more trust from Sean Payton. And with trust comes success. At the end of the day, you have bye weeks coming up. You might not be able to start, C.J. Stroud and Jalen Hurts. And, you got guys like Sam Darnold who's on bye. You never know. You might need to play a nasty boy. So let's go with Bo Nix. I'm not saying play with confidence, but cover your eyes, play him, set your line, and then don't watch any of the game. And last but not least, let's talk about Kirk Cousins, a.k.a. Kirk will change. He is finally starting to put the pieces together in this Atlanta offense. Kirk has finally hit his stride. He's starting to heat up with Drake London. Darren Mooney is looking like one of the best pickups of the offseason for the Atlanta Falcons. He has Bijan out of the backfield, Tyler Algier. He has 2 good running backs. He has multiple receiving options. And what do you know? Kyle Pitts even had a good game. Hell must have frozen over. We'll see what he does this week. At the running back position, I want to pick up Tyson Chandler if he's already not rostered, which he should be, but you never know. Aaron Jones did go out last week with a hip pointer, and he was ruled out pretty quickly. So you can say it's one of two things. Either they felt the game was in hand, which it kind of was, but they felt the game was in hand, so they didn't need to put him back in and rush him in, or it's a really bad injury and he's going to need some time off. At the end of the day, the Vikings have a bye, so he has a little extra time to get healthy. Doesn't have to worry about missing the game. He can, have limited practices. So you do need Tyson Chandler. He should be rostered. If Aaron Jones needs to miss a week or even 2, Tyson Chandler is going to be a top 5 running back. But at the end of the day, he might be back after the bye. So don't spend too much fab, but he does need to be picked up. You probably shouldn't spend too much of your fab on, but he needs to be rostered. Tank Bigsby. Is he the new wide receiver 1 in Jacksonville? No. But what we have seen is if Travis Etienne has some time, we know for a fact Tank Bigsby is a lock and load RB1, and he has the backfield. And at the end of the day, if you need to throw him into the flex, he can give you a big play here and there. He has standalone value and is a major handcuff. Pick up Tank Bigsby and don't look back. And last but not least, Chase Brown. A recurring issue in this year's waiver wire is injuries. Zach Moss got nicked up. He missed some time. He tried to come back into the game, but they ended up holding him out. And Chase Brown ended the game with 2 touchdowns. Doesn't seem like he's going to miss any time at all. He might miss, if anything, 1 week. But what you need to understand is if Chase Brown takes control of his backfield, he's not going to give it back to Zach Moss. And this is the time where they say, we're hitting our strides. We need to put some weapons around Joe Burrow. We need to do something and turn something around. Maybe Chase Brown is that spark. You could be looking at the lock and loaded RB1 for this high-powered Cincinnati Bengals offense for the rest of the season. Pick up Chase Brown. At the wide receiver position, Nico Collins ended up leaving the game with a hamstring injury. And at first, it didn't seem like it was that bad. He walked to the 10, didn't seem to be limping or anything. He seemed in good spirits. They didn't bring him back to the game because, again, it is a hamstring. At first, the coach said he was day-to-day, but now DeMeco Ryans is saying he could be week-to-week and probably going to miss some time. It's a hamstring. These things happen. So, again, you want pieces of this Texans offense with C.J. Stroud. Tank Dell is going to elevate to a wide receiver 2. Stephon Diggs is going to slide in the role of wide receiver 1. But we've seen with C.J. Stroud, their 3rd and 4th options has value. So if you need a spot start this week with a lot of buys, which is something I'm going to have to do, pick up guys like Robert Woods and Xavier Hutchinson. I can't really sit here and say one is so much better than the other because if you look at the stats on the season, they have the exact same amount of targets. And they're pretty much running the same amount of routes. This is not a receiver you're going to stash for a long haul, but if you just need a play this week, pick up one of these guys. You can also pick up Ray McCloud. We've seen that he is going to have guaranteed touches in this Atlanta offense. And again, if Drake London or Darren Mooney gets hurt and has some time, Ray McLeod can step right in and fill the void. And again, he has standalone value. He's getting guaranteed touches in this offense. He's actually the third leading receiver ahead of Kyle Pitts, ahead of Bijan Robinson, Ray McLeod. Who would have thought? He also plays on special teams. So if you play in a league where you happen to get, special team points by yardage, it's a bonus. But he's also can get you a random 6-point touchdown on any given week. And someone that I think is going to be a high priority waiver wire pickup this week, I would spend a good amount of fab on him, Juju Smith-Schuster. Now, hear me out. I know what you're thinking. He's busted. He no longer has any value. He's old. He can't do it. He just had 8 catches and over 100 yards on Monday Night Football against the Saints. And what you have to understand is they've already said that Rashee Rice is out for the year. Are they going to try and get a veteran to fill his void, or are they going to use Juju as that veteran presence? What you have to remember is a couple years ago when they won their first Super Bowl, Juju was the leading wide receiver. And then he got shipped up to the Patriots last year, had a pretty forgettable season. And up until this point, he's actually had a forgettable season. But this is just a spark they need. They know that they can trust Juju. They can put him in positions. He's trusted by Patrick Mahomes. He is a veteran presence. He's played in big games. I think that they're going to use Juju as the wide receiver 1 rest of the season. At the end of the day, Kelsey is the wide receiver 1, but as a wide receiver, Juju is that guy. So pick up Juju Smith-Schuster, and you can play him with confidence. You also might have a new wide receiver 1 for the rest of the season for Patrick Mahomes. The tight ends are never really fun to talk about, but at the end of the day, you have to play them. Someone you can pick up is Jonnu Smith and play him with confidence. This offense is not really hitting the long bombs anymore, obviously without Tua. They're dink and dunking, but Jonnu Smith has a lot of targets at the line of scrimmage. If you play in a PPR league, you could do worse than Jonnu Smith. Taysom Hill has cracked rib and is probably going to be out for at least another game. Foster Moreau is filling that void at the tight end position. He already has a connection with Derek Carr. Again, he scored a touchdown tonight, and you can't really bank on it every single week. Without a touchdown, his night would have been pretty forgettable and pretty dull and pretty disappointing. If you need a tight end to pick up and play because of bye weeks, you can do worse than Foster Moreau. And last but not least, he probably should be owned in all leagues, but if he hasn't for whatever reason, pick up Hunter Henry. It looks like Drake May is going to be playing soon, if not this week, most likely next week. And we've seen these rookie quarterbacks come in, have a spark in this offense. If he comes in and he's swinging a rock all over the place, Hunter Henry is going to be one of the first reads in this offense. So pick him up just in case. And my stash of the week, I'm going to say it's Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the Chiefs running back. Rashee Rice is out. We're not really sure what's going on with Pacheco. Kareem Hunt seems to have a lock on this backfield as of today, but that's because Carson Steele is pretty much just a body, and so is Samaje Perine. We've seen Clyde Edwards have success in this offense, and we've seen him rattle off big plays. Again, when we talk about trust, Patrick Mahomes trusts Clyde, so does Andy Reid. When he comes back, he's going to be in the mix for the running back 1, and that's an important position in fantasy football, so stash Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next week.